Welcome to Vintage Variety. I'm going to start off today's content by showing you a few craft repair items that I recently purchased. I'm also going to do some repurposing today, at least one repair, and I'm going to show you some items that I've made by taking inspiration from a few of these vintage pieces. Another thing that I wanted to share with you guys today are jewelry tools that I like to keep on hand for those of you that are new to repairing jewelry or making jewelry. This first item, I don't know if I've shown it to you guys before. I have had this for quite some time. This is a beautiful old vintage brooch. And I don't really recall exactly when it was that I purchased it, but when I saw it, I thought it was just too beautiful to pass up. My original plan for this brooch was to turn it into a necklace pendant. I thought this would really make a beautiful necklace. It's missing the pin on the back, and I also have some old beads laying around from a broken necklace, and I thought, I could put that necklace back together and attach this, maybe using a jump ring, and turn it into one complete piece. But after I had gotten the brooch and I started looking at that broken necklace, I realized it just wasn't going to look right. Even though the necklace is blue, it's a different shade of blue. So I really don't like the idea of putting these two pieces together. What I decided to do instead is I am going to make a necklace inspired by this brooch, and I'm also going to replace the pin on the back of the brooch. Some years ago, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, I did do content on how to replace a brooch pin, but I kind of updated that. I found a much simpler way, in my opinion, of doing that. So later in the content, I'll show you how I went about making the repair and the tools that I used. Another item that I believe came botted with the brooch was this beautiful bracelet. And when I first got this, I thought, that doesn't have anything wrong with it, but it does. It's missing some of the dark blue rhinestones. This bracelet isn't signed. My first guess with this one was perhaps a coral, but I'm really not sure. Regardless, it is a beautifully made piece of jewelry. All of these light blue stones, they aren't plastic. They do have that moon glow look about them, but these are actually glass stones. So this beautiful bracelet is definitely worth repairing. I'm not going to do a repair on it today, but I did want to share it with you guys. Another bracelet that I purchased that supposedly needed repairs was this beautiful old charm bracelet, and I really love the theme of this bracelet. I'm going to get it laid out neatly so you guys can see all the charms on it. I would say that the theme of this bracelet is luck, because it has all of these charms, and most of them are either 3-leaf or 4-leaf clovers. And I've just now noticed this one is signed. We'll zoom in on that later to see what the marking is on it. Don't know if this bracelet came just as it is, or if it was one of those type of bracelets where the charms were slowly added over time. But you can see there's some 3-leaf clovers. We have some 4-leaf clovers. This one here is where it comes into play that it's a repair piece. You can see that it's missing some of the stones. Now, this is real stone. I'm not sure if it's real turquoise or not, but it is missing two, and these are kind of an unusual shape, so I don't know how easy it would be to replace them. Other than the charms, it has glass beads dangling on it. So my thoughts are that this bracelet was originally like this, that it was manufactured and sold this way. For the most part, it's in really good condition. I'll show you the rest of the charms. This one's a shield with a clover on it. Then we have a couple of more at the end, a 4-leaf clover with a setting, and then a 3-leaf clover with some rhinestones. I did notice this one. This one is also missing the rhinestones, and I could probably find replacements for those. But the way I see it, this bracelet has character, it has age, and I think that I may very well just leave it as is. Now let's have a closer look at the marking on this. I'm going to try to zoom in so you guys can see the marking. So this piece was made in Germany. And other than that, I really don't know much about it. If you think all of the pieces on it are original, definitely let me know in the comments. I would be really interested in knowing. But my thoughts are to just leave this bracelet as is. I have a few more items I wanted to show you guys, starting with this beautiful brooch. I bought this online and it was listed as a craft or repair piece. Looking at it, I don't see anything wrong with this. It's a dragonfly. Maybe it had antennas and at some time or the other they got broken off, but I honestly can't see anything wrong with this brooch. I'm going to leave it as is, but I love the colors of this. And just looking at it kind of gave me an inspiration to make something that looked like this in the same color combination. So what I did was I ended up making a beautiful necklace, and I'll show that to you guys. I think you're really going to like it. There are so many ways that you can wear brooches, and one of my favorite ways to wear them is to take the brooch, open the back up, loop the brooch pin between beads on a necklace and wear it as a pendant. So this is going to look really great with the necklace I made. These two items came in a lot together, and it is a repair lot. Looking at the earrings, I don't really see anything wrong with them. These are cold painted. There is some wear to the enameling, but otherwise they're in pretty good shape. Now, these earrings, if I were to list them for sale, I don't have a lot of luck selling clip-on earrings unless they're a real well-known designer or if I lot them together. But I think that these would look great. You could wear them, and you can also take earrings like this and clip them onto a chain and wear them as a pendant. As for the necklace, this is a plastic beaded necklace, and I loved all of the beads on it. I'm not really sure how this necklace is put together. It almost looks like a lei. It looks like someone has sewn all of these pieces in layers. So this will be a future project. I'll probably take this apart and make it into either a double or triple layer necklace, or I may even make it into a couple of different necklaces. One more item that I wanted to show you guys that I'm going to incorporate into a repurposing project today are these earrings. I got these recently out of a jewelry bag, and they're not expensive earrings. I don't even think they're all that vintage, but I thought they were really pretty. Sadly, one of them is missing the post. So I thought, you know what, I think I will repurpose these into necklace pendants. I'm going to do one of them today, and I'll show you my idea for how I would repurpose the other one. Now I'm going to show you guys my projects, items that I made from inspiration, and repairs that I made. One thing I wanted to mention with this dragonfly is I believe his tail may have been longer. It may be missing a piece at the end. Regardless, this is the beautiful necklace that I made, taking inspiration from the butterfly brooch. You can see that I tried to incorporate all of the same colors into this necklace. To make this necklace, I used faceted green glass beads in an almost identical color as the rhinestones you see on this brooch. I had a very old broken necklace that had these beautiful black faceted glass beads and these small black seed beads, so I decided to incorporate those into this necklace because it does match the background color of this brooch. I also wanted something that kind of had an iridescent glow to it, so I decided to add some mermaid glass beads. I used blue and green. I love these beads because they kind of remind me of the old sapphirette glass. If you've never seen them before, they really aren't that expensive. They aren't really vintage. You can buy these at a lot of different places. I do have them in my Amazon storefront along with some other items that I'll be showing in content today. And you can find a link to those items in the description box below this video. There's no pressure to buy, but keep in mind if you do buy something through my link, my channel does receive a small commission, which really helps my channel out. These glass beads come in a variety of colors. I ordered the green and the blue tone. I had enough left over. I decided to make a bracelet incorporating the same beads into it along with the vintage glass seed beads. This turned out beautifully. It's a little larger than I had planned, but I do have someone in mind that I'm going to gift it to. So now that I've shown you these pieces, let's have a look at them on the necklace stand. I want to show you the necklace first. I think the necklace as is, worn alone, is absolutely stunning. I love the way the mermaid glass beads kind of catch the light. But if I really wanted to add an extra flair to it, I can just open up this brooch, and I'm going to take the brooch pin and very carefully I'm going to place it in between the beads. Show you guys how that looks. I'm not going to close it up, but you can close the pin back up. And the reason you want it in between the beads is because you don't want to damage the brooch pin. But have a look at this. Is this a statement piece or not? I think that these two worn together really has that wow factor. You guys let me know what you think in the comments, but I think this is absolutely stunning. I wanted to show you a picture of this necklace under a black light because I forgot to mention that those beautiful green faceted glass beads I incorporated into the necklace, those are uranium glass beads, and I thought it really gave an extra special touch to this piece of jewelry. I want to show you how I repurposed that earring I was talking about earlier. There are a couple of different ways you can do this. In the case of this earring, it still had the post part on it. So what I did here was I took my round nose pliers, I bent the earring post up, and then turned it to make a loop. I attached a jump ring to the loop and then attached it to a chain. Very simple. One thing I will tell you guys is when you're doing something like this, proceed with caution, because sometimes, depending on the type of post, the quality of the earring, or the materials, the post will break off when you're trying to turn it into a loop. Now, there is a second method, and I think I've shown it before in content, that you can do to take an earring like this and turn it into a pendant. And I'm going to show you the other earring as an example. You can see that the top part of the earring's missing. In the case of this one, I simply would have just added a jump ring to it and put it on a chain. Here's a look at it on the necklace stand. I did put it on a longer chain, so I've doubled it up. But this is just a really great idea for some of those really pretty earrings that, let's say it's missing a part or you only have one of them. You can take those and you can repurpose them into an absolutely stunning necklace. This is the brooch that I showed you guys earlier, and it is all repaired. Looking at this, you might think it looks a little odd, but I'm going to explain to you why it looks this way. Let me flip it over and show you the back. So you can see I've replaced the pin, and you'll notice the end of the pin has this piece on it. This piece comes off. Often when I'm wearing brooches, especially the old brooches with the C-clasp, once I put the brooch on my clothing, I'll use a rubber earring back and put it on the end of the brooch just in case it comes unclasped. It will catch on my clothing so that I don't lose it, and that's why I left this piece on here. So what I did to repair this is I ordered the pins online, and these are the type of pins that you use for creating stick pins. This is a new option. I've done content in the past about how to repair a brooch pin, or replace a brooch pin rather, using an eye pin or even using a heavy gauge jewelry wire. and I'll leave a link to it in the description box below this video. But the reason I chose to do this is I felt it would be a lot simpler. This already has a sharp end on it, whereas if you're using something else, you're going to have to file that end down if you want to have a sharp end on the brooch. Another thing that I did differently with this brooch is this brooch originally had a pin in the end of it that held all of this in place. And I wanted this to be very secure. So what I did was I made a pin to go into it. I used a jewelry eye pin. This is a jewelry finding. You can buy these at any craft store that sells jewelry supplies. You can buy them online. And what I did was I kind of measured it, made sure it was going to fit through the sides here. You can see this one has a flat end on it. So that's the kind of eye pin that you're going to need. And I pushed it through and I took my wire cutters and I cut some of the pin off. Then I took my round nose pliers and I looped it over. I pressed that down very gently so that it was nice and secure, and I did file it because this is something you really don't want it catching on your clothing. But if you want to repair a brooch that's missing a pin, this is a really good option. It's a very easy way to do it. And the great thing about these stick pins is they come in different colors. You can get them in different sizes. Usually you can order them and you get several, so you can keep them on hand if you have another brooch that you want to repair. And I'm going to show these to you, let you guys have a really good look at them. These are also listed in my Amazon store. So it has the end on it. You can see one end's looped, so you can attach that to the brooch. And this end is already sharpened for you. And you have the option of leaving the cover on the end of it, like I did with mine, or you can take it off. So just a really good idea if you have a brooch that's missing a pin, how you can go about repairing it. Just as I did with the dragonfly brooch, I took inspiration from this brooch to create another necklace. I don't really recall where I got these beads from. They may have came from something that was broken, or I may have purchased them online. These are beautiful glass beads. They are a cobalt color, but they're also infused with what I believe to be maybe a gold leafing. They have quite a pretty glow to them when you look at them under the light. I also had some gold glass seed beads, and I thought I would combine all of these pieces together to create a very simple but beautiful necklace that could be worn on its own, or it could also be worn with this brooch. I'm going to show you how these two pieces look together on the necklace stand, but first I really wanted to give you guys a close-up of how to attach a brooch to a string of beads. So what I've done here is I've took the brooch pin, I've opened it up, and if you'll look closely, I am placing that in between the beads. By doing it this way, when you close the brooch up, it's not really going to put any pressure on the beads or on the pins. So now let's see how this looks together on the necklace stand. I think that these two look really lovely together. All of the colors match up very well. The only thing that doesn't look too great is the end of the pin, because I did use a longer pin for this brooch. But to give you guys an idea of another way that I would wear these two pieces together is, let's say I have on a blouse. I would go ahead and put the necklace on, and then the pin, let's pretend that this is going through my clothing or the fabric of the blouse. So the pin is going to be, for the most part, hid, and I'm just going to loop it through just like that. And I often like to wear brooches in that style. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Regardless, I think these two pieces look great individually or worn together. I want to do a quick run through of my jewelry toolbox. I've shown some of these before, but I've never shown all of the items that I like to keep on hand for whenever I'm making or repairing jewelry. As I show the items, I'll tell you what I use them for, so if you're new to repairing or making jewelry, this will be very informative. The first item I wanted to show you guys are these. These are my favorite pliers. I have a couple of pairs. I call these bent nose pliers. That may not be the proper term for them, but these are really good about getting into tight spaces and even using as a second hand to pick up really small beads and items like that. These are flat nose pliers. These are great for opening and closing jump rings or just about any other project you're working on where you need a pair of pliers. These have a wire cutter built into them, so that also comes in handy. These are round nose pliers, perfect for making your own jump rings or loops in jewelry wire. Another thing that I like to keep on hand are wire cutters. This is a small pair. If you're cutting thick wire, I highly suggest you also have a heavy-duty pair. This is a bead reamer, and I don't recommend using this on fragile glass beads, but if you have plastic beads and let's say you're wiring them together and you need to make the hole bigger, that's exactly what you would use this tool for. This next tool is a small rubber mallet, and this is perfect for straightening out a piece of jewelry wire when you don't want to damage it. You can see it has a rubber tip on the end, so you can use this to apply pressure without scratching or damaging the piece of jewelry. I have a regular jewelry hammer, and you can see that each end is different. One end, the flat end, is more for hardening wire or flattening out wire. The other end is great for adding texture to wire. You can also use this if you're hammering to stamp something out. This is a bench block. My husband made this one for me. I think it's great. It serves the purpose, but you can also buy these online. This is a small screwdriver set, and these are very tiny. They come with flathead, Phillips head, anything you would need for working on jewelry that has small screws in it, such as watches. This tool is a caliper, and I own two of these. One is digital, so it's a little fancier, but neither of them cost very much. You can purchase these online. These come in really handy for measuring beads and rhinestones. If you are looking to replace a missing rhinestone or a missing bead and you're looking for those items online, this tool is really going to help you because it's going to measure and give you the exact size that you're going to need. I always keep jewelry glue on hand. I have two tubes here, E6000 jewelry and bead glue and GS Hypo cement. Between the two of them, you can look at the tubes and tell which one I prefer. Hands down, GS Hypo cement is the best. It holds up better than any of the other glues that I've used over the years. Just a few more items to show you guys from my jewelry toolbox. I always like to keep a tube of Simichrome on hand. This is a great tool for testing jewelry to confirm whether or not it's Bakelite. A lot of times I can kind of tell by the weight of an item, but it's always a good idea to make sure. I also have a couple of pairs of cuticle scissors, and these come in really handy. Let's say you're using silk knotting cord to knot between beads. I like to use this to cut off the end of the cord after I've attached it, and I also like to apply a little bit of jewelry glue to keep that from unraveling. These have a blunt tip, but I also have another pair in my jewelry box that have a pointed tip. This is a really good tool to own, especially if you're replacing missing rhinestones in jewelry. This is called a jewel picker, and it's a tool that more often than not I forget I have and I forget to use it. But it has rubber tipped ends, so you can apply your jewelry glue and just use the tip to pick up the rhinestone and drop it into the jewelry. I also like to keep a couple of old toothbrushes on hand. These come in really handy when you're cleaning a piece of jewelry. Another item that you guys are probably already familiar with is a jewelry loop. And this helps when you're trying to make out marks on jewelry. This one has a light on it. These are also another relatively inexpensive tool. A few more things I wanted to show you guys. These are jewelry tweezers, and this is a retractable measuring tape. So often this comes in handy. Let's say you're listing something for sale and you want to give accurate measurements, because a lot of buyers will want to know exactly how long the bracelet or the necklace is. The last items I'm going to show you in my jewelry toolbox are the least expensive of all of the items that I have. All of these items came from Dollar Tree. First of all, I have an X-Acto knife. I have two of these. They have different size blades, and this comes in really handy when you have one of those old necklaces that you're redoing, and let's say that it's on cord that's been knotted. You can just cut between those knots to cut the beads apart. And at $1.25, it's really a price that you can't beat. Another item I wanted to share with you guys are these small containers. If I'm not mistaken, these come in packages of either 6 or 8. These are great for storing small jewelry parts, beads, rhinestones, bead caps, and things like that. Every time I go into Dollar Tree, I always make sure to pick some of these up and have them on hand, because I never know when I'm going to need them to keep different groupings of beads together. The small green cutting mat that you see here also is a Dollar Tree item, and I have a couple of those. I'm not affiliated with Dollar Tree. I don't receive any commissions from them, but anytime I run across a good deal, I like to share it with my subscribers. The other items that I have shown from my toolkit, you can find those in my Amazon storefront, and I'll leave links to them in the description box below this video. Keep in mind, I do earn a small commission, but there's never any pressure to buy. Hopefully I gave you guys some really good information, not only about different types of jewelry tools, but also how to go about repairing pieces of jewelry. I also hope, like me, that you can take inspiration from beautiful old pieces of jewelry and come up with ideas to make something completely unique of your very own. If you guys enjoyed today's content, please remember to give me a thumbs up. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to share these items with me. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. Ring the bell for notifications, and you'll be notified anytime I upload new content. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.